Raider Nation, what is the deal, man? Once again, it's the guy Panama Fargo back to y'all live with another episode of the Raider Rundown. And today, man, we're going to go over the rundown of the game yesterday versus the Denver Broncos. Raiders came out with the victory. So we're going to go over the negatives, the positives, right? Who we liked, who surprises, all that shit in this episode. So if you didn't watch the game, make sure you stay tuned. And you already know, man, let's get this intro started and let's get the show cracking.
As a young guy, I had a dream that someday I would build the finest organization in professional sports.
What is the deal, Raider Nation? Once again, it's your guy Panama Fargo. Like I said, it's another episode of the Raider Rundown. Make sure you're tapping on the like and subscribe button. And please hit on the little notification bell so you get updated whenever I drop episodes like this one right here. But like I said, man, I'm going to give you a rundown of the game yesterday and what I like, what I didn't like, negatives, positives, right? And if you were with me for the live show yesterday watching the game, we had a fucking time yesterday, man. It was a lot of highs, a lot of lows, man. But at the end of the day, it was very, very fun. Make sure you tune in every Sunday or every Raiders game because I'm going to be going live, man. You'll see my live reactions. We'll talk about the game play by play, man. So it was a very fun time hanging with y'all that last Sunday, man. So like I said, let's get into the game. So the Raiders ended up getting the victory 17-16 over the Denver Broncos, right? And it was not a pretty win at all, okay? It was not a pretty win, but at the end of the day, a win is a win. Now, there were some things on defense that kind of pissed me off a little bit, right? And you know, I know some people on Twitter and social media want to say it's the same on defense, but let's be honest with ourselves. They only gave up 16 points. You feel what I'm saying? They gave up 16 points to a defense or to an offense that most people were telling us that is going to be much improved, right? You got to think about it. Before this game yesterday, everybody was on social media saying Denver's new offense is going to be different. It's going to be more crisp, more fluid, right? Sean Payton's going to have the boys running. This defense, for all the flaws and faults that they had, held them to 16 points, 6 points in the second half. So we can't nitpick that much, right? Now, are there things to clean up? Guaranteed. There are things to clean up. But at the end of the day, to see that from your defense, very, very encouraging. Now, let's talk specifics on defense, and then we'll get to the offense, right? So stay tuned. But specifics on defense, who I really, really liked, right? One, let's start with the positive. Diablo, right? Diablo played his ass off yesterday. And at first, right, he made a couple plays, a couple mistakes in the game. I was killing him for it. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But he must have heard me talking shit because he shut me the fuck up, right? Yesterday, he had an amazing game. And that's the type of shit right there that we want to see from Diablo. How he played yesterday is how I want to see him play for the rest of the season. That's what we expect. You feel what I'm saying? Like breaking up passes, coming in, filling these run gaps, right? Being physical. That's the shit we want to see. That shit makes me excited thinking about it, right? So I'm happy to see he's taking a step, right? He took a nice little step yesterday. Another person played very well, Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs yesterday showed exactly why you put him back in the slot, right? I don't understand why they put him on the outside, maybe because of depth last year, but whatever the case may be, they finally put him back in his natural position, and he makes plays. You know what I mean? He just makes plays. So I'm very happy to see, Nate Hobbs get back to form, get back to the corner that we know he is, right? But he's in his true position now. So at the end of the day, he played very, very well. He had himself about like 8 tackles, right? And came up and really, really filled. That leads me into my next point, right? The Raiders tackling yesterday for the first week was very, very good, right? You got to think about this. In training camp and all that, especially in today's football, you don't really get to go to the ground and tackle the way that you want to in practice and training camp, preseason, right? You don't get to do all that. So yesterday was a very, very good example of tackling, right? Crisp tackling. Now, were there some missed tackles? Yes, there was some missed tackles. But I'm just saying, for the first week of NFL football, and some guys are a little rusty, for the tackling to be as good as it was yesterday, that's very fucking encouraging, right? And especially from the secondary. We saw a lot of great tackles from the secondary. Now, let's continue on, right? Now, when we look at the positives, we're still looking at positives. Marcus Epps, right? Marcus Epps is another guy right here that I think he's going to pay a lot of dividends this season. You can just see the leadership from him, right? I'm watching him during the game. And if you go back and watch the game, right, make sure you pay attention to Marcus Epps and how he's communicating on that defense. Look how he lines people up. Look how he talks, right? And for our defense to get to a level that we needed to get to, we need that quarterback. We need that leader in that backfield to make sure everybody's lined up, to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Marcus Epps is that guy. And if you watch him, if you go back and watch the game, a number of times you see him lining people up, telling people where to go, right? All right, making sure everything's coordinated. And he also had a very good tackle himself. He's been tackling good himself. So at the end of the day, he had himself a great game. Spillane had a great game. Our boy Max had a great game, right? There's a number of things that happened that was good yesterday, but also come with that were the negatives. Now, with the negatives, we played very, very good run defense yesterday. Very good run defense. We held Javonte Williams to only like 52 yards, something like that. So the run defense is something that I'm not really worried about. I mean, even last year, our run defense wasn't horrid, right? It wasn't horrid, wasn't terrible. It's always been that pass defense. Now, this is the thing. We saw a little stickier coverage towards the second half of the game. But towards that first half, bro, I don't know what Patrick Graham was doing. He was playing too much far off coverage. Marcus Peters, Ja'Cory Bennett was like 10, 15 yards off the ball, which I don't understand why you're doing that with Cortland Sutton and all these other guys. Like, now, if you're talking about we do that against the Bills and Stephon Diggs, maybe. But even then, you can't be that far off, bro. They're just going to kill you underneath with the crossers and the curls. And that's exactly what Denver was doing, right? That's exactly what they were doing. Now that we got into there, let's talk about the young buck, Ja'Cory, right? Now, he had a couple penalties, all right, and maybe the technique wasn't sound, but I'm not going to lie to y'all, bro. Those 2 penalties that he got was kind of bullshit-ass penalties. I'm not going to lie. I'm not even going to kill him for those, right? And that second one, that long PI or whatever he gave up towards the end, right? That kind of got Denver into field position, right? Got them in the field position. And at the same time, they were able to get their 3 points off of that. But at the same time, it was a bullshit call. Bullshit call. Now, they said there was a little tug or whatever. I didn't see it. And even on that first one he got, right there, it was a great pass breakup by him. Wasn't that much of a call either. So I hope, he didn't lose his confidence. And I hope Raider Nation isn't losing confidence in Ja'Cory Bennett either. I mean, the flags are bullshit flags, but I think he played great overall. I think he played a good game overall, man. Not great, but he played good, right? And at the same time, I think his tackling was the number one thing that made me be like, this guy could be good, right? Once again, tackling was a positive yesterday, a very good strength. He tackled his ass off yesterday, and that's the shit I like to see from a rook, from a rook. And to give it into perspective, right, certain players did not play very well when their time came. Hobbs tackled well, Bennett tackled well, but if you notice, the first play Meek got in, he did what? Missed a tackle, right? So certain guys got to get themselves together, right? But at the end of the day, you're definitely seeing the improvement, right? You're seeing the growth from certain players and the players that they brought in. So very, very excited, man. Keep it on the defensive side of the ball. We got to talk about the negatives, bro. Tyree Wilson did nothing for me yesterday. Now, am I going to give up on him and say, oh, he's garbage, he's trash? No. First game, right? First game. And at the same time, he missed hella training camp. So let's not kill him for that, Raider Nation. All right. Now, was it disappointing to see that from him yesterday? Yes, by all means, for sure. Very disappointing. And I don't know what they have to do as far as coaching staff or whoever to get his first step right. But his first step got to get right. He's consistently damn near the last one off the ball when the ball is snapped. Everybody's gone, and he's the last one still hand in the dirt, right? That shit needs to change. He can't have that. We can't have that. So I don't know, maybe he has to adjust to the NFL speed, and that's what it is, right? We're just seeing his timing's not there. Maybe that's the case. Me, I kind of would like to see him a little more inside. Maybe he's not ready for that, but at the end of the day, I like to see him transition a little more to the inside, try to bully some of them guards right there with that pure strength, So there's a lot to work through, sort through, but at the end of the day, we got to remember what all the rooks that played. We had a lot of rooks play. They're just rookies, bro. They're just rookies. There's still time to develop. And I mean, if you're expecting all pro, almost all that shit, it's rare to get that. It's rare. There's growing pains to go through, bro. So at the end of the day, we're seeing those. But with Tyree, bro, definitely there's still more that he can show. I wasn't, completely blown away by what I saw, but I'm not going to completely kill him for it either. I'm just in the middle, right? I'm just going to let him continue to get his rhythm and see how the weeks go. We talked about it before the game. We talked about it in the off season, right? So I got to stick true. I got to stick true to it. Even if he gets his tick right now, we have to allow him to get his rhythm, and this pick is going to pay off in the future, right? It's going to pay off in the future. So there, another guy I was disappointed in, right? And, some people may be like, oh, take it easy on him. Disappointed. It was Trayvon Merrick, right? Trayvon Merrick disappointed me a number of times, right? Because what we got him here for is to be that sticky safety in pass coverage, right? And at the end of the day, he has some cool plays. He has some good plays. I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't have any good plays, but his negatives overshadowed his positives to me, right? You giving up contain in his zone coverage when you seeing Russell Wilson, boot out and you're seeing crossers hit your face. You giving up that contain, right? Couple tackles that could have been good, but he has some good tackles as well. It's just more mainly in the zone coverage where you get the disappointment with Trayvon Merrick because he consistently looks lost, right? Like it just every time he gives up something, he just looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, right? And that's the whole thing. So, I mean, it's just with the zone coverage and with the coverage period is where you get disappointed in Merrick. And there was a time, I think yesterday, they put him on man coverage against Dolchich, their tight end, cooked, right? He got cooked. And it's so disappointing because when you drafted Trayvon, you're like, that's what his strength is going to be. You feel what I'm saying? His strength is going to be coverage. Strength is going to be able to take away some of them guys that we need him to take away. It's not happening right now. Now, he was kind of physical in that run game. He made up for a little bit being physical in the run game, but, the overall game by him, I'd say was not a good game by him. Was not a good game. Was not a good game by that interior pass rush. Once again, we're the same as we've been, right? Now, this is not me saying that the defense is the same as it's been, because the defense is obviously different, a little more stout, but that interior pass rush is the same. No pressure, right? The boys, Russ was back there making a fucking sandwich, right? And just chilling. So at the end of the day, that needs to be something that needs to be fixed, bro. I don't know what they have to do, but we already knew. I mean, shit, we knew when the season was coming in, bro. That interior pass rush, as much as they try to dress it up and shit, what did we say on this channel, bro? You could put a wig and makeup on a pig, but it's still a fucking what? Come on, bro. Like, so at the end of the day, you can dress it up as you want. Training camp, beat reporters can dress up this interior line and all that shit during training camp as they want. But once again, when the bullets fly, we don't see the pressure we need to see, right? So that's the whole thing. So that's still a weakness on this team. Jerry Tillery, another dumbass penalty again. And Tillery's cool. I know most motherfuckers like him, but another dumbass play, bro. He needs to fix this shit. Now, they were saying the offensive lineman did some shit, whatever, but it's always him in the middle of the goddamn shit. He needs to take himself out of that equation, take himself out of out of the way, so motherfuckers don't even associate him with that. But boom, there we go. And that leads me into the offense and leads me into the biggest point. Fucking penalties. Penalties, penalties, penalties. And what did we say before the game, right? We cannot be sitting there damn near 100 yards in penalty offense. And what did we do? We fucking jinx ourselves because that's damn near what we had. You feel what I'm saying? Damn near with that. And even with that, you still got the dub. So that's what you look at, right? Even with the 100 yards plus, damn near, of penalties, you still get the W. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, what can we say about the offense? Jimmy G, I don't want to hear shit about Jimmy G. He did what he had to do. Now, did he have that costly mistake in the end zone? Yes. And I will admit that. He needs to throw that ball away. All right? He needs to throw that ball away in that scenario right there. You tie the game. But I understand he's trying to make a play. You feel me? First game was getting down to the nitty gritty. He sees me down by 3. He's trying to make a play in the end zone. But in that scenario where it's really muddy like that, I'd rather him throw that shit away, bro. Let's take that 3. You feel what I'm saying? Let's take that 3 and let's get it cracking. Let's play defense like we did. Let's play defense. Now, it is what it is. He made that mistake, but 20 of 26 for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Very efficient when he had to be, right? I mean, that first drive, your boy was scrambling, moving out the pocket. Shit, had a nice little flip to Devontae that first drive. He was moving, bro. And this is the next thing. If any of you who were sitting there mad about the quarterback change, are you still mad, bro? You're just a hater at this point. Because understand this. Yesterday was how a quarterback is supposed to move in the pocket. That's how a quarterback is supposed to move in the pocket. Regardless of how you feel about Jimmy G, that's the shit you want to see. You want to see a motherfucker standing back there, patting the ball, right? And just taking sacks, holding the ball too long. Get rid of the ball or get your ass out the pocket. And that's exactly what Jimmy did. So yesterday was one example of how this offense is going to be operated different because you have a quarterback who operates different. He's going to move in the pocket. He's going to keep chains moving. You feel what I'm saying? If it's not there, run, or move, make some space for yourself to get a nice little arm angle to move the chains. And that's what Jimmy did yesterday, right? With his legs, with his arm, right? He commanded the shit. So that's exactly what I wanted to see from Jimmy. And of course, we already know the slide to win the game on these fuck-ass boys, right? Slide to win the game. And that's exactly what we do. And this is another little tidbit that I know most of you probably didn't pay attention to, but, think about this. Everybody that's saying we're the same old team, understand, we took that ball for our last drive with 5 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the game. 5 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the game, the Raiders had their last drive, and the Broncos did not see the ball back. You answer me. When the fuck did we do that last season? When did we do that last season? When were we able to have the ability to take the ball with 5 minutes left and run that bitch all the way down, and they don't even sniff the ball after that? That is the improvement. That right there is what we wanted to see from this team. And when you're saying, are we going to take the next steps? Now, am I saying we're a Super Bowl caliber team? No. But if you want to talk about taking steps, right, to be successful, to be somebody who is perennially talked about as a playoff team and somebody who's going to be in the mix, if that's what you want to be, this is the type of game you got to win. That's the type of shit you got to do. 5 minutes to go in the game, you take that bitch and they don't get it back. You feel what I'm saying? That's what winning teams do. I'm very happy to see that. I'm very happy. Now with Josh Jacobs was Josh Jacobs, and he did what we expected to do, especially if you on this channel, right? What did I tell you before the game? He's not going to be the same old Josh Jacobs. Now, that's not saying he won't be towards the season, because he's going to be just fine. We saw what we needed to see from him, but I mean in the whole aspect of he's still getting his body acclimated to the game speed. He's still getting a rhythm with his O-line. I mean, yesterday, the biggest thing for me that I can see, you can say it's rust from y'all, but for me, it seems like he just don't have the continuity with his O-line yet. He just don't have the rhythm with his O-line. And that's huge. As a running back, you have to have that rhythm with your big guys. You have to, because they're going to be blocking for you all season. At a certain point, when you practice with your big guys enough, you pretty much kind of, like, I don't know how to describe it for a person who has not played running back or a person who has not played football, but to describe it to y'all, when you're, have that rhythm with your O-line, you kind of feel their body movement. Let's put it like that. You feel the body language, right? Like, after a while, once he gets more comfortable, you'll be able to see his O-line turn the shoulder a certain way and be like, okay, I got to make that cut. It's some shit like that, right? As a running back, it's that type of shit that you need to build rapport on. So I'm not tripping about what I saw about Josh. And at the same time, we're playing a stout Denver defense, so they knew what they was going to do. They knew what we knew, right? Which was, we got to come out here and run the ball, get that play action established. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Not going to trip too much about that. So, I mean, Jacobs did what he had to do, and you really brought him back for plays like he made in the last play of the game when Jimmy scrambled. That block that Jacobs threw, and the block throughout the whole game, magnificent. Tremendous, bro. Tremendous. The man can block his ass off. And that's another concern I had with Zamir if he was going to have to play, is he's not really a strong pass blocker like that. Now, with Josh, you get that shit. So, I mean, he's damn near the main reason Jimmy was able to scramble. He is the reason Jimmy was able to scramble that last play. So, glad to have JJ back, man. That's exactly what the fuck I expected him to do. What is understood don't need to be explained, right? Same shit with Devontae. You know, we saw him getting double covered, Pat Surtain. I mean, the Bronco fans gonna take their little victory and be like, oh, you know, Pat Surtain shut him down and shit like that. Bro, y'all had like 2-3 motherfuckers on him, bro. Stop playing. 2-3. 2-3 people on Devontae Adams. And Jacoby did what we expected him to do. Like I told you he was gonna do, right? You try to double Devontae, triple Devontae, Jacoby's gonna eat you alive. That's just what's gonna happen, right? It's just what's gonna happen. He's gonna eat you alive, and that's what he did. Now, prayers up to Jacoby, right? He got hit. The Broncos was out there throwing dirty ass fucking hits, man. Dirty hits. And all you fans that's over there, bro, yeah, y'all motherfuckers was dirty yesterday, but that's all you can do when you're getting your ass, when you know you're not as good as you think you are. When y'all not as good as you think you are, all you fans can throw cheap words. Your players can throw cheap shots and shit. That's what y'all do. Cheap shit. So at the end of the day, man, we're going to move past you pony-ass motherfuckers, man, because that's what y'all do at the end of the day, right? Y'all, if y'all can't win the game, y'all going to try to do some dirty shit. Or y'all going to try to talk shit and say we still suck. Blah, 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 blah. You lost the game, bro. And you're not as good as y'all thought y'all was. So, I mean, as far as Jacoby, prayers up, man. Prayers up to Jacoby, man. Hopefully he's good, right? Took that hit. I mean, shit, Jimmy almost took a helmet-to-helmet hit earlier. But, you know, with Jimmy, with Jacoby, he ended up getting up, walking off on his own power. And that's what I wanted to see because he didn't look good when they cut away, right? But he walked off on his own power. So that's what we wanted to see. He was in the locker room smiling, you know, happy, laughing. So that's all good to see right there. So it makes me feel good. As far as the O-line played a tremendous game pass blocking, boy. Oh, I don't think Jimmy got sniffed. Yesterday, I was very, very, very proud of that O-line yesterday, pass blocking wise, bro. He had all day. And even on the times where he had to try to, you know, get the ball out, they were sending some blitzes. They held up pretty well. You know, there were some times that Jimmy was going to have to take some shots now. There were some times, you know, because at the end of the day, there are some times where the quarterback is responsible for a free blitzer because the O-line just can't block everybody. There's only 5 motherfuckers on that O-line, right? And then you add the running back. There you go. That's 6. But at the end of the day, maybe a tight end. But if the defense brings 7, 8, you know, you're going to have to sit there and take the free blitzer. Sometimes that's the quarterback's job. And Jimmy did an excellent job of that yesterday. There was one play in particular. If you go back and watch the game, one play in particular, I think Jimmy, there's a guy coming off the right side. Jimmy sees this guy coming off the right side. He sees him. But instead of holding up and curling up and saying, oh, shit, he's coming, he looks back, still try to look off of safety and still throws, I believe, either some type of post or some type of slant to either Devontae or Jacoby. Don't remember, don't kill me, but it's one of those. And it's just the way he saw the blitz, still acknowledged that, but understood this is his guy. He's going to have to take this hit. He's still going to have to take this hit and deliver this ball. And he did that. That's the type of shit that we're going to see for the rest of the season. And that's why this Raiders offense is going to be different. Because you got a motherfucker who knows how to move in the pocket. You got a motherfucker who's willing. Now, of course, we don't want Jimmy G to take these hits. But at the end of the day, he understands that's the name of the game. And that's what he's going to have to do. And throughout the season, we're going to see more of that. And that's the difference, right? You keep the chains moving with shit like that. You don't take unnecessary sacks. I don't think yesterday he took no unnecessary sacks. And that's the beauty of it. I don't think anything he did was unnecessary except for that fucking interception. The interception was unnecessary. If he didn't throw that, I would have said Jimmy had himself a B+ game, right? And I still think he had a solid B, but it would have went from B to B+ if he didn't throw the interception. But at the end of the day, you know, we're seeing everything. Now, one thing that does concern me about this offensive line was that the run blocking was inconsistent. The run blocking was very inconsistent yesterday. We couldn't really get a rhythm. But once again, Broncos knew what we knew. We had to run the ball, right? And they were committing to that. They were committing to stopping the run of Josh Jacobs and this offensive line, which, you know, we knew. But at the same time, there was just no continuity in whatever we tried to do in the run game, outside zone, inside zone, power. Just nothing worked really. You know, nothing really worked like that. But at the end of the day, you know, I think we ran the ball efficient enough to move the chains. That's just what it was. We ran the ball efficient enough to move the chains, you know, and get a little shit going. Like I said, Jacobs wasn't going to have over 100. He wasn't going to fucking light the world on fire. First game coming back after all that time missed. But We still saw some good explosion from him, some good shit from the offensive line that as the season weighs on, I feel like there's going to be more and more continuity and rhythm in that run game, right? So let's see what happens. And we got to watch today, Monday night. Let's see Buffalo, right? Let's see how the Jets run on Buffalo. Because the Jets offensive line, they're worse than our offensive line. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the Jets have a worse offensive line than the Raiders. So if they're able to come out here and run the ball efficiently, let's see what the Raiders can do next week, right? So at the end of the day, very, very, very not. How do I want to say this? Very, very so-so game yesterday. It's an ugly win. But a win is a win, and you take that shit. Now, one thing I will say before I end this off right here, I think I didn't see Hunter Renfrow at all yesterday. And that's the shit that right there that kind of concerns me, right? When you're talking about, us saying we can win these type of games and Hunter Renfrow gives you little to no production. Little to no production. We can win these games and he gives you that. Now, I saw a lot of DeAndre Carter yesterday. I saw Renfrow a couple times, but nothing to make me be like, oh, yeah, there he is. It didn't look like there was no plays drawn up for him. It didn't look like there was nothing drawn up like for him to get the ball. And that's the thing where I'm like, if you're not going to use him, right? Now, I'm not saying he's not good, but if you're not going to use him, that's $13 million sitting right there. That's something you could probably invest in the defensive side of the ball as time goes on, right? Look for a trade, look for something. But, yeah, I didn't see him. So keep that in mind, bro. Keep that in mind in the back of your head. I didn't really see Hunter Renfrow this whole time. And if y'all did, let me know. But, from there, I want to say the full rundown of the game. Ugly win, but a win is a win. Defense, gave up some shit, didn't look stout where they needed to. But at the end of the day, they were very good situationally, and that's what we were talking about. They had to be good situationally, get people off the field when they needed to get people off the field, and also showed me some red zone shit that I love to see, right? Broncos had an opportunity to really blow the game wide open when they were in their own territory in the red zone to get a touchdown. They could have blown the game wide open, and we would have had to sit there with a 2-score deficit. But defense held them to 3 points. We end up scoring our touchdown, and there we go. So that's the name of the game. And what have we said on this channel all the time? It don't mean shit on both sides of the ball if we're not good in the red zone. And both sides showed improvement in the red zone yesterday. One, defense stopping Denver from making it a 2-score game. And then offense coming right back after that, scoring 7 points, right, to take the lead. Now, obviously, we left some points on the board because we probably could have been up by 10 points. Being realistic, we probably could have been up by, not 10 points, I'm tripping. We probably could have been up by 4 points, something like that, right? I am tripping. What the fuck am I saying? Either way, right? Regardless, right? My math is fucking off. But regardless, we could have been up by a couple points, right? So apologize for that. My math is fucking crazy right now. Smoking too much of that shit. But we could have been up by more points than that. But we left some points on the board, right? We threw that interception. But that's what you go in the film room and you correct, right? Look at here. Lord, we left points on the board. Look at here. Couple penalties taken away here. They don't have as many points as they do, right? Little bullshit ass, roughing the punter, roughing the kicker, all that shit. Bullshit calls on Jacorian. Cool, whatever, bro. But with those, think about some of those. You take away at least 3 of them points. They looking at 13, maybe 10 points. They didn't do shit really that made me be like, all right, Now, there was a couple times they was moving the ball, but we got stout once we got to that 20. And that's what I like to see. Once we got to the 20 and in, we got stout. And that's the markings of a team that's improving where it needs to improve. So that's the good shit. For me, man, I give this a solid B. A solid B. B performance on both sides of the ball, man. B for the offense, B for the defense. Because the defense held to 16 points. And if you tell me that we can't win with our defense holding people to 16 points, then there's something that needs to be evaluated, right? 16 points is good enough to win a ball game. So B for me. Y'all let me know down below who had you excited, who had you disappointed. What did you look at yesterday that made you optimistic, that made you say, okay, we got to fix a couple things? Let me know down below in the comments, man. Let's holler about it. Make sure you guys are tapping on the like and subscribe button. Hit on the little notification bell so you get updated when I drop episodes like this, man. I might have a little episode for you later on today, depending on some information that I'm getting right now. But I might have a little episode for you later on today. So make sure you tune in for that. And I keep it authentic from the clouds to the ground on the Raider Rundown.
I need a bad bitch with an accent, serving in peace, still taxing. Just got tapped for the young Cash App, moonwalking like a young Mike Jackson. Yeah, shots to the head, ride clean and still fuck feds. Realest nigga and it's on my kids, so who the fuck gon' wanna test me, bitch?